So Monster Hunter Wilds is breaking records left and right, but man does the PC performance suck, and Capcom's response doesn't seem to work much either. So here's the community basically trying to fix the game for the company. Somehow a typo in the game's config file is causing issues for a lot of folks. We're going to talk about that in this video, and some people have actually seen some big improvements upon changing it. But we have a response from the tech support Twitter account with some other solutions over here, including upgrading your graphics drivers, turning off compatibility mode, and also readjusting the settings from this recent blog post. I'm going to link all of this down in the description, by the way, so you can go ahead and check it out. But looking at all of these supposed solutions look like generic workarounds that are unlikely to solve the more pressing issues, which is basically performance and optimization. Like, how is giving Steam administrator privileges going to fix any of the textures going wild at random times? So this is probably not going to fix much of that, but there's actually a solution that comes from the fans, and that has to do with the game's config file. So some users discovered that the value called resolution was misspelled, and upon correcting this, folks managed to gain a pretty decent 10 to 15 frames per second, though they do warn about the possibility of seeing your CPU temperatures jumping a little bit after this change. Additionally, there are two other lines of code here that I'm going to list down below. You can go ahead and change the first one to 16, and the second one go ahead and enable, as that's also going to give a big jump in performance from looking out at most of the comments on Reddit. Like, folks who couldn't break 60 FPS before now can get 60 FPS plus even in the base camp. You can also go ahead and test this by yourself, by the way, and from the looks of it, you also have to set that config file to only read mode, not read and write, so that none of these settings get overwritten. Again, the values will be in the description down below. But now that I think about it, there's definitely something at play here with the game's resolution, because my Shadowplay recording files have always got the wrong resolution, even though I did already set it in my NVIDIA panel. And this is something that constantly baffled me, but only now I'm making the connection. So all my recordings ever are at 1440p in every game that I play. But somehow in Monster Hunter Wilds, despite the fact that the game is set at 1440p, I oftentimes find my recordings set to 1080p for some odd reason. I even tried enforcing Shadowplay to always record at 2K and override the game's resolution, but even then it causes these issues with the latest drivers, by the way. So as far as ports go, PC ports and whatnot, this is definitely one of the more strange occurrences that I experienced so far. Now, there's also some good news at the end of this tunnel. Capcom is also getting some hotfixes ready, but maybe not for the performance first, which again just baffles me. But we do have some that are already available on the PlayStation 5, and it's supposed to also address the issues with the smithy and the grill a meal feature. So the smithy weapon upgrading tutorials sometimes got in the way of certain features, disabling certain options in that menu. That is one of the problems addressed with this hotfix, and another one was with ingredient center and grill feature not being unlocked despite players meeting the criteria. So expect these to go live any moment now, especially on PC Steam. But the game right now is sitting at a staggering 1.3 million peak concurrent players on Steam, managing to surpass the likes of Elden Ring, Cyberpunk, and now even being ahead of various online titles like Dota 2, and that is highly impressive. I'm not gonna lie, this is a very fun game. There's actually a reason why so many people push through all of these problems. It's because at its core, Wilds is extremely fun. So let me just say that this is an insane achievement. No doubt Wilds is going to break even more records in the weeks ahead, but Capcom really needs to be on top of these fixes ASAP so that they don't tarnish that reputation even more. Right now, the biggest complaints I've seen are in regards to the poor performance, but also with the very poor multiplayer implementation. I'm not even gonna lie, I have not used multiplayer at all in this game, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it sucked all the way back in Monster Hunter World. Even back then, I was not able to play multiplayer at all because of connection issues. Never could for 4-5 years, never had that possibility. So right now, it's rightfully so sitting at a mixed 50% positive reviews, but likely in time this is going to grow, as has been the case with Cyberpunk. So yeah, that's just going to be a given. But consoles seem to have it even rougher. Digital Foundry is saying that Wilds isn't necessarily pushing up the cutting edge here, but it definitely runs like it does. So if you're playing on a 4K TV right now and maybe trying to run performance mode because maybe you're enjoying 60 FPS, forget about visual quality. With the game's anti-aliasing being some of the worst in recent gaming, you're going to see some really ugly, muddy textures. And of course, really jagged edges, basically. Some of you also asked me, by the way, I am playing on the PC, and despite all of this, a lot of you guys mentioned how the game looks good and runs smoothly in my recordings. Honestly, I don't know why that's the case. I have literally done nothing special. I let the game set the settings, it's maxed out everything, DLSS quality mode, here's a settings preview. This is basically how I'm playing. But this is like another crisis situation all over again, however with worse graphical settings. If you have a strong PC, chances are that you're not going to have many performance issues with the game. Well, maybe the annoying jagged graphical glitches that happen every now and then. I also did not install the high resolution textures pack, so I've heard uninstalling this may help a little bit with the issues, but other folks mentioned that high resolution textures barely change anything for them. Also, the game features literally two de novos / anti-tampering systems that some folks discovered by accident because Capcom left a trail behind. So it's literally like trying to make a car with two of its wheels blocked off to run like a Ferrari. It's going to be very hard to pull it off. But despite all of this, I still think the game is great, and Capcom has updated the free DLC roadmap for both the spring and the summer content drop updates, and they look pretty exciting. Early April, like we talked about before, we'll see the first free title update that adds Mitsutsume as a new hunt and a new event quest. First added back in Monster Hunter Generations, and an Apex version also is present in Rise. This is a highly aggressive Leviathan class that uses bubbles and other water elemental attacks, plus it coats its entire body with a soapy substance to make itself more agile. So it looks interesting. It's also extremely weak to lightning, so that's going to be very nice because some of the lightning weapon options we have in Wilds are some of my favorites, so I cannot wait to actually bring them in this fight. Now, besides this, they've also mentioned additional new monsters, and the terminology used here implies that we're likely going to see returning monsters from the series rather than completely new ones. But let's be honest, the series definitely does not have a shortage of those, so it's still going to be good. Summer update will also see more limited time hunts and even challenges to complete, so I don't know, maybe we will get some extra gear pieces. That would be lovely. But finally, a cosmetics DLC pack number 2 for the premium deluxe edition owners will also happen around the summer title update, however at a slightly different date. So far, Capcom is keeping a tight lid on all of this information, but when we get this information, obviously you're going to find it out with a new video or posted on the community tab. That is pretty much it. Let me know down below, how is your performance, or how are you enjoying or not enjoying Monster Hunter Wilds right now. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.